Wow, talk about some huge news that just dropped here recently on Facebook from flowracing.com. And I know there's probably a lot of people watching my channel for the very first time just because of this news. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the whiteboard. If you don't like it, well, sorry. This is the best we've got here on this channel. But wow, Ricky Thornton Jr. is going to be making his 410 sprint car debut this weekend with High Limit Racing at the Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania. This is a huge deal. We always talk about Kyle Larson and how he's able to bridge the gap between NASCAR and dirt racing, from sprint cars to late models, from late models to midgets, all of that stuff. Larson is the guy when it comes to bridging the gap for race fans to different disciplines. And Ricky Thornton Jr. is certainly on that trajectory as well. Obviously, over the last year or two, he has been the best, if not, one of the best, if not the best late model driver in the entire country. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I do not watch a ton of late model racing, but I respect the hell out of this guy because I was at the Chili Bowl. He was racing there. He was extremely good at the Chili Bowl for very limited experience in a midget. He made a couple of races during the Tulsa Shootout. He made the feature, I believe, at least one of them. This guy is one of the best drivers in the country, without a doubt. He just doesn't come from that open wheel background. Obviously, he's a modified, a stock car, a late model guy compared to, let's say, a Larson who came from a background of sprint cars, midgets, not micros, but sprint cars and midgets and things like that with open wheels. But Ricky Thornton Jr., this is absolutely unbelievable. This is huge news. And it also it helps the fact that it's at Lernerville, right? A place that has a really, really large sprint car fan background. But at the same time, it also has a really big background for late model fans as well. And so I think this is going to be so awesome. You can watch it on September 13th and 14th. So tomorrow, Friday night and Saturday night, it's the Commonwealth Clash with Kubota High Limit Racing on Flow Racing. So if you have Flow Racing subscription, you're going to be able to watch this, all you late model guys out there, which you probably do already. But some other things to talk about here as well. The car he will be driving is a good race car. It is a car that has won plenty of races. It's had a lot of different drivers behind the wheel, including guys like Shane. Nothing like an Amber Alert to hit your phone as you're recording a video here. But like I was saying, this car is very, very good. It's great equipment, and it's had some great drivers behind the wheel in the past. It's ran a little bit this year, has not ran a ton compared to the last couple of years, but Buddy Kofoid, Kevin Thomas Jr., Shane Stewart, we've seen AJ Flick drive the car here recently, along with several other guys that have been very, very good in it. It's won races and contended at the highest levels of racing as well. And so Ricky Thornton Jr. is going to have a great opportunity here. And also, I want to mention this, he will be a teammate. So there's going to be two of these cars, two Indy Race Parts 71s owned by Bernie Stubjen. The other car will be AJ Flick, who is a 7-time track champion when it comes to sprint car racing at the Lernerville Speedway. So, of course, Thornton has plenty of experience at Lernerville, but he's going to have another guy to lean on a little bit there with AJ Flick to help, hey, put the car here, put the car there. If you get too close to this, you're going to have this type of issue, right? AJ Flick has a ton of laps. He's the current points leader. He's got 3 or 4 wins this year at Lernerville. So great guy for Ricky Thornton Jr. to be in the same pit area as. Now, a quote from the Flow Racing article that Ricky Thornton Jr. said, he is excited. Obviously, it's something I've always wanted to do, just never had the right opportunity to do it. And so from the sounds of it in the article, what was it, the Lucas series or the Flow? I don't know what, like I said, I don't know late models very well, but whatever he was supposed to race this weekend, I'm guessing Lucas got rained out. So that got washed out early on in the week, right? And so I'm guessing he made the phone call to Bernie Stubjen and said, hey, what can we do to make this happen? It's really funny and very ironic. I was actually texting Bernie Stubjen earlier today asking, because somebody commented on one of my videos and saying that AJ Flick was going to be in his car this weekend. And then I was like, I texted her, Bernie, I said, hey, just making sure 71 car going to be there this weekend. He said, yes. And this was probably like 2 hours ago while I'm recording this. He said, yes. And we're going to have a second car there with a surprise driver to be announced. I was kind of thinking, maybe a Kevin Thomas Jr. is going to come out of it and run the car, or maybe somebody like that we've seen in the car before. Not the case, as Ricky Thornton Jr. was that driver. Now, in the past, Ricky Thornton Jr. has ran a sprint car before. He won actually a non-wing sprint car race in 2017 at a racetrack in Casa Grande, Arizona. So he has, like we said, he's got plenty of experience. Not plenty, but he does have experience behind the wheel of some open wheel race cars. This year, he ran a midget for Keith Coons. He ran the micro at the Tulsa Shootout. He ran a midget for Andy Reinbold at the Chili Bowl as well. And so he does have that experience of being, stood up in the race car in the seat like that and being able to look over and see the tires and all that stuff, right? I think he's not going to be worried about that at all. Now, he's also, as we mentioned, very familiar with this racetrack, which is a key thing. It's not like he's going to some racetrack he's never been to before and getting behind the wheel of a 410 sprint car for the first time as well. In that situation, I would think, he's going to be in trouble. That's going to be not a very good recipe for success, right? But he's been to Lernerville on 13 different occasions in a super late model, and he's won the 2023 and this year's Firecracker 100, which is the biggest, I don't know if it's the biggest race at Lernerville, comparing it to the Silver Cup and the Commonwealth Clash, it could be, but potentially the biggest race of the year at Lernerville, a 100-lap late model race. He has won it the last 2 years in a row. He also has 2 other career victories there at Lernerville as well. So the guy has got plenty of laps and plenty of success around this racetrack, which you combine that with, being teammates with, AJ Flick. He's in a car that has plenty of laps there as well, and a crew chief who has been so very successful, Bernie Stubjen, on the wrenches, and you combine that with his success at the track as well. This could be a pairing that is honestly pretty good. And I also want to mention this. Earlier this year, we did see another national touring late model driver, Brandon Sheppard, make this same type of attempt as well. He raced with the World of Outlaws at the Jacksonville Speedway in Illinois, making his first 410 national sprint car debut earlier this year. There were 56 cars on the property for that one. Not ideal circumstances for Brandon Sheppard, but he hot lapped 42nd. He qualified 18th in his group, which is actually pretty good. I mean, 56 divided by 2, that's like, I don't know, you guys know if you watch this channel on a regular basis, I am horrendous at math. But that's like a lot of cars. I mean, it's like 30-ish cars, 28-ish cars there that he had to beat. He beat a couple of them, qualified 18th overall. He finished 10th in the heat race, and then he was 6th in the C main. So I don't think that's going to be the case for Ricky Thornton Jr. because there's not going to be 56 cars showing up to Lernerville. But what are the expectations? What should we be expecting from this weekend with Ricky Thornton Jr.? The other thing that I think helps him out as well is he gets Friday night to practice and learn the car and understand what's going on, the feeling of the car, the throttle, the brake, moving the wing back and forth. He's going to have a whole night to figure things out. He'll have hot laps, qualifying, a heat race, more than likely going to be in the B main. If he could transfer to that, he's got a feature to roll off as well with. So he's going to have a lot of tools to use when it comes to Saturday to try and make improvements. And here's what I think is going to be what he needs to do, right? I don't know about Friday, but he should, I think, make the show on Saturday. With him being entered in the field, we only have 33 cars that are entered into the race, right? 33 cars that we know will be at Lernerville on Friday and Saturday. So that means, a little bit of math there. I'm going to say it's about 9 cars that are going to be going home. And, maybe RTJ's one of them make the show. I think he can make the show one of the nights. I really do. And I think another thing he needs to do is finish all of the laps. And if he does make that show, could he run top 15? That is a big question mark. I don't think he can because 16 full-time high-limit guys, we've got a really deep roster of cars that are going to be running that race. I think it would be tough. If he ran top 15, somebody needs to call this guy next year and put him on a national tour in a sprint car. He wants to do it. It sounds like he wants to try something different and be a sprint car driver. If he can go out there in his second race ever at the Commonwealth Clash at Lernerville and run top 15 against high limit, then I think that he proves that he has the talent to make it happen. Making more and more laps, more and more races from there on, he's only going to get better and better. If he can run top 15, which would honestly shock me, it would be absolutely monumental. And I think then we'd have all the guys from the late model world saying, the sprint car guys are terrible. Ricky Thornton Jr. rolled in their first race ever, ran top 15, blah, blah, blah. Sprint car guys suck, blah, whatever, right? You're going to get that type of stuff on Facebook and whatnot, but it's still super cool. Like, this is such a big deal for racing and a big deal for high limit as well. So very, very cool stuff. Excited to see how it all goes down tomorrow night at Lernerville Speedway. I did want to mention this as well. I was there at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track during the World Finals one year when Brandon Overton also tried to race a sprint car. That did not go nearly as well as Brandon Sheppard. World Finals, obviously a huge track, number one. Huge field as well, a tough field. And Shepard, or not Shepard, but Overton, he struggled that night and did not look too comfortable in the car. He was at least on the throttle, though, so we could give him that. But, I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think Ricky Thornton Jr. is going to be able to do this weekend at Lernerville? Do you think he makes a show? And if he does, do you think he runs in the top 15 one of the nights? I don't know. I think if he does, that would be absolutely huge for him. And I think people would actually give him a look for next year. I don't know about on a national side of things, but maybe a car that runs around in the Midwest quite a bit, and he could kind of split between that and a late model series. Who knows? Let's see what happens. It's going to be fun. Tomorrow night, High Limit Racing at Lernerville. RTJ going to be in the field. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and also hit like and hit subscribe. We're getting close to almost 4,000 subscribers. We're about 3,400-ish right now, so it'd be cool to get to 4,000. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.